Welcome to Christian Newsmakers here on WTHR+. Since this is the month of May, we want to turn the spotlight on the IndyCar Ministry. Jason Holt is the executive director and chaplain of this organization. Jason, thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, hey, thank you for having me on. Excited to share a little bit more about what we do.
That would be great. I'd love to find out, how did IndyCar Ministry start?
So actually back in the late 90s when the split happened, there was a group of people, Tony George included, that gathered around as they created the IRL. And alongside that, they also created IRL Ministry. There was a number of people doing ministry at the kart races, and they realized we should put an organized effort to create this ministry ongoing. And so we actually were created with the IRL back in the late 90s and have just been a part of the series ever since.
So, Jason, what is the mission of IndyCar Ministry?
So the mission is simply to shine the hope of Jesus right in the midst of the paddock. A lot of people, myself included, are great fans of IndyCar. It's incredible racing. The cars are amazing. The environment is electric, but behind the scenes, it's just really a hard environment for many. It's just the reality of racing, and we get the incredible honor of serving and encouraging and helping people along. So,
and Jason, you've been in racing a long time, both as a driver and an owner. What prompted you to get involved in IndyCar Ministry?
Well, I honestly fought it. I grew up in racing. My dad had owned some champ cars back in the 60s. And then, of course, I started my career at 6 years old. And I had actually met Jesus in 2010, had a radical encounter with him. And, after a couple of years of walking with Jesus, I remember leaving the racetrack very clearly. He said, it's time to step away. And so I did, but I didn't know what was next for me. And I really didn't want anything to do with racing. If I wasn't driving, I didn't want to be near it or anybody that did. And at the time, my friend Bob Hills was the chaplain for IndyCar. And we'd had lunch one day and he said, hey, would you mind leading a Bible study at Andretti? At the time, IndyCar Ministry had different Bible studies at some of the teams. And I thought, you know what, I can do that. Well, that's one way I can still be in racing and I can point people towards Jesus. And that's where my journey began as a volunteer back in 2013. So
that is great. So what makes the IndyCar Ministry different?
So, I think for us, we actually live and function a lot like missionaries. You see, the racing community, it's its own culture. It's its own kind of country, if you will. So in the same way that a missionary studies a country before they go live on mission, we're students of racing. Myself, I grew up in it. The other chaplains grew up in it. And so we know the language, the values, and all of that. And so I think that really helps. The way that we frame what we do is really to serve as missionaries. The city doesn't matter. It's all the same people. It's a traveling circus. And so we just have this ministry of presence where it's all relationship driven. And so week after week, we're in this with the teams, with the drivers, with everyone. And so that puts us into a place to be able to encourage them and point people to Jesus.
That's great. How does your ministry serve IndyCar, Jason?
Yeah, so we do a number of things. So of course, a lot of times we're praying at the drivers' meetings, praying with the drivers, the teams on the front straightaway. There's a lot of counseling because again, you're talking about people that travel upwards of 80 days a year. So if you imagine just what that does to the family unit and how hard that can be on marriages, on parenting. And so there's a lot of conversations and help in that way. A lot of time spent standing on the side of a transporter, encouraging and supporting because, there's a lot of stress, a lot of pressure that people face within IndyCar. And then one of the other side pieces that we do is our family care side. We have a whole team of wives and spouses that are back home that are there to support other wives and spouses. So we have watch parties where they all get together and foster community. We do track meetups to where people come together at the racetrack. And then, of course, we send a lot of meals, a lot of flowers. If there's a wife struggling, we've got another wife that shows up to just pray and just be with them in that moment. And so there's just a lot of support and encouragement through every area.
That's so great. Tell me about the winners' circles.
Yeah, so those are our Bible studies that happen within the shop. That's our place of really being able to kind of go deeper. You see, on a race weekend, everything is so chaotic. You're on a time schedule, and the real reality is a lot of the teams and mechanics, they're working. They got a race car to get ready. We got to get on practice or qualifying. So the winter circles become this place to really slow down. We meet over lunch. I think right now we're at 6 different winter circles in shops around Indianapolis. And we have leaders, and then I still lead Andretti, of course. And it's a place to kind of go deeper into scripture. What I love is it actually becomes a place of invitation as well. So people that are kind of hesitant, it's a great place to just invite, hey, come check it out. And we've seen God do some pretty amazing things there.
I'll bet you have. Tell me about the fan outreach component of IndyCar Ministry.
Yeah, so another piece that we have, we're primarily focused on the traveling circus, right? Those that are putting on the show in every capacity. But then next to that is our fan outreach side. So we have a show car, and then out in the fan area, that show car is staffed with volunteers. We try to connect with local churches to provide volunteers. And really, it's just a place to connect with fans and to share the hope of Jesus there. It's amazing how at a racetrack, God can draw people with a show car. Our partner church in St. Pete, they provide volunteers every day. And I think this year on Friday, the volunteers prayed with something like 46 people. And so it's amazing how that too has just really become a place of mission. Sure, it shares what we do at IndyCar Ministry, but the real intent is to be there to care for fans and to support them as well.
Jason, where can race fans find you during the month of May out at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
Yeah, so myself and our chaplains, we're all over the place, from pit lane to gasoline alley and back and forth about 1,000 times. We walk upwards of 10 to 15 miles a day. But you can certainly, whether you see us, dashing by, would love to say hello, but you can also visit our outreach team. They'll be in the fan area for the Grand Prix. And then we'll move in on Monday to our Trackside Garage 19, which is just south of Gasoline Alley. And we'll have a display. I have our activation there with our show car and our teams. Would love for you to come by and check it out.
Nice. And I know that our viewers watching Christian Newsmakers may want to get involved with IndyCar Ministry. What can they be able to do to come alongside what your ministry is doing?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. So this month we're doing what's called our 5th annual month of ministry. And so there's a lot of moving components, as you can imagine, for the month of May. But a few of those are, number one, we have a 30 days of prayer calendar. This 30 days of prayer calendar, it prays over each day is a different team or a different area that we serve. And so we want to cover everyone with prayer this month. We need that most of all. Secondly, we do have multiple church services happening on race day. So if you're coming to the track, we'd love for you to join us for church. We have 3 Protestant services and 3 Catholic Mass services. And then lastly, we're doing a fundraising season. We're trying to raise $30,000 this month to further equip and empower our family care team to care for families and continue to fuel the mission of IndyCar Ministry and keep us at each and every race this year.
Sounds like an amazing ministry, and I know many people are going to be interested in learning more about it. Tell us where people can go online to find out more about IndyCar Ministry.
Yeah, IndyCarMinistry.org is our kind of our primary place on all social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and then YouTube. And then off our main website, there is a banner on the homepage for Month of Ministry. That has all the information of what's going on this month. You can print off the 30-day calendar there. You can see all of our service times, as well as any other information you'd like to know about us. It's all right there. Fantastic.
Jason Holt, Executive Director and Chaplain with IndyCar Ministry. Thanks so much for joining me here on Christian Newsmakers on WTHR+. We'll enjoy having you and the rest of your organization here in Indianapolis during the month of May.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you.
You bet.